Alright, well, I'm having some issues getting logged into Mixer on my PC here so I can view my broadcast dashboard, and I don't know what is up with that. So we are going to kind of go and see how things go without that. So first of all, I want to say welcome everybody who is here joining us tonight. My name is, is that what it is? Because yeah, I'm getting an Xbox Live login error. It's of course it had to be tonight that Xbox Live has to go down. Alright, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Wire Junkie. I am the Extra Life team lead for the Good for Gaming team. This year we are going by the name of Mason's Little Warriors in honor of Mason Sims, one of our teammates' sons who passed away at the age of 2, who was in and out of Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Extra Life specifically. I'm going to show how to set up your stream for Extra Life, again, specifically. However, the topics that I'm going to cover aren't necessarily directly related to Extra Life. So if you stream for any charity, whatever, the topics that I'm going to cover tonight will directly apply to how you set your stream up. It's just how you hook up your alerts. So I'm going to hook into my Extra Life alerts tonight so you can see that, but there's Tiltify, and there's actually this really cool feature now in Streamlabs that they let you hook into a lot of different charities. But since Extra Life and Streamlabs have a relationship already, they have that special Extra Life integration, which I've continued to use, but I'll see if I can show the other way that you can go and find all the other charities, and we'll see if we can't set that up. In the meantime, I am going to kind of start from the very beginning of what do we do to get started. I'm also going to talk kind of about Extra Life right now, get that out of the way, and then as we progress through the stuff that we're working on, we'll try and bring Extra Life and some of their charities into it. So, what exactly is Extra Life? So, Extra Life is a fundraising platform through Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Children's Miracle Network Hospitals is a group of 170 different hospitals throughout North America that provide critical medical care to children in need whose families might otherwise not be able to afford that care. So if a child walks into the doors of one of the CMN hospitals throughout North America, they will receive the medical care that they need no matter what, whether their family can afford it or not, and there's no pressure on the parents or anything like that when they come in. And the how it works is Seaman hospitals are completely funded by charitable donations that they receive throughout the year. They don't receive any government funding, no subsidies or anything like that. It's all driven by fundraising that they do from the public. So the people like you watching and your friends and your family and your colleagues. That's how they operate year after year after year. So the work that we do as charity streamers really goes to help impact people in our local community who might otherwise not be able to get that medical treatment. So signing up for Extra Life is really easy. I have some links in chat for that. If you do the ! Extra Life, that should take you to the link for where you can get signed up for that. And let's see, we're gonna do this too. @ yes. Alright, Good for Gaming, I have modded you for the night so you can help me by posting links if that comes up, if that need arises. But you should be able to do there we go. So I do have some commands set up, but I'm going to go through like the inner workings of how I got chatbot working, how I get Streamlabs integrated into OBS and all that good stuff. So why don't we jump right into it? So the first thing you're going to want to do, I'm going to show you OBS Live OBS Studio, because I really enjoy using OBS Studio. I tried Streamlabs OBS when it first came out, and I know that they've made a lot of changes. However, my situation that I'm in requires me to be able to stream to 2 different profiles. So I have my own profile where I can stream to my own channels, but I'm also a member of the Extra Life stream team, which means I need to be able to stream to their channel as well. So what OBS Studio allows you to do is it allows you to set up multiple scene collections and multiple profiles with multiple stream keys. So I have a stream profile for Extra Life that uses the Extra Life Stream Team key, and I have another profile for Mixer, and I have another profile for Twitch. So all of those, you just kind of select it from the drop down, which I'll show in a little bit, and it once you set all that up, it just works, and you can switch back and forth depending on what you need to do. So what we're going to do is you would go to the OBS website and download OBS Studio. I'm not going to go through that part. I'm pretty sure you guys can figure out where to get the software from, but that's where you would go to get started. And after you get it installed, this is the window that you're going to be presented with. You're going to have just this blank window. This is where your scenes are going to be populated here. You're going to create your scenes down here and give them descriptive names. You're going to add your sources to your scenes, and then you're going to have your mixer down here with all of your sound. So I'm going to actually bring So the first thing you want to do, I'm also going to talk about this from an NVIDIA standpoint because I have NVIDIA graphics card. If you have AMD, you can go, there are certainly websites that you can get settings for, but what I did was I pulled up the OBS guide from NVIDIA for how to set up the NVIDIA encoder settings. You know, what are the best settings to be able to do what you want to do? So the first thing they start out with is the table of your upload speed. So you have to know what your upload speed is to be able to know what settings you want to choose. So for me, I believe I have 20 up, but I don't go that far. I don't push the boundaries of what I can upload to the streaming services. So I usually try to stick at 1280 by 720 at 30 frames a second. It's what I do for Extra Life channel. It really seems to work. I don't see the need to push the 60 frames a second. And for me, it just seems to bog down my machine since I have to also share the processing power of my laptop with, I think there's a limit for non-partners anyway on bandwidth. I don't know what the limits are. That is certainly true for Twitch, absolutely. I don't know if that exists for Mixer, and I don't know if that exists for YouTube. But if you have a pretty good internet connection at home though, this 4 megabits line is like a good place to start, and then you can work your way up or down from there depending on how your stream seems to go. So 4 megabits, you want 3500 bit rate, 1280 by 720, 30 frames a second. Okay, and then it goes through all of the different settings here that you can go through, which I already have set up on mine. So let's go ahead and look through that. So we're going to go to the settings button down here. Then we're going to go to output. So you can choose to do either advanced or basic. Because I'm using the NVIDIA encoder settings and with what NVIDIA is recommending, I went through their advanced setup and set this up. So I don't know that I want to spend a whole lot of time on this. The documentation is all there. You can follow it line by line and fill in all the boxes. But this is what works for me, and your mileage may vary depending on your hardware that you're using. So I usually keep it at constant bit rate of 3500, a keyframe interval of 2 seconds. I usually use the max quality and the high profile. And then one of the differences with Streamlabs is they have an auto tune that will try to configure based on the hardware DTX. And that's something new that they just added to Streamlabs too. That wasn't there when I first started using it. So again, if you don't need to worry about bouncing between multiple channels, Streamlabs is a good choice. I'm not knocking Streamlabs in any way. It didn't work for my situation that I was in. All right, so that covers your output. Your stream. So you pick your service that you want. You have the options here. So I'm on Mixer tonight, and Mixer has two options for you to choose. FTL, which is their real-time chat. So basically if you're familiar with streaming on Twitch, or you've maybe watched Twitch streams, you'll notice that when you type something into Twitch, it usually takes a little while for the streamer to get back to you. And that's because there is a delay between the chat and the stream. And there are settings in Twitch where you can turn that off now. Mixer actually offers two different servers for you to choose from. So if you want that real-time communication, hey, thank you, Chris, for that follow. Welcome to the community, friend. So if you want that real-time interaction with your community, use the FTL. If you want the delay, use the RTMP. There is also Restream. So Restream is a service that you can use that allows you to stream to multiple platforms at the same time. I'm not going to go through that tonight. That is a welcome, Captain Mike. Thank you. How you doing tonight? There's also YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all that stuff. And there's more if you expand this show wall. Okay. So I'm just going to leave it at Twitch right now for the way it is. I'm going to let it pick my server based on the settings that I'm at. And then what it does is it's going to make you log into your Twitch account with the Twitch OAuth certificate. So you put your Twitch credentials in, and what that does when you say OK, you can go into the docs menu and turn on other one is the so these are all dockable windows now that you can use in here. And then there's another one for chat. So there is my Twitch chat right now, the Twitch server stuff, or the Twitch stream stats right there. And then there is your activity feed if you want that. And you can always turn all of these off too. I'm not going to show that anymore. So I'm going to turn these off so it's not so cluttered. And on my other screen where I have my actual hosting, or my OBS that I'm actually running from, I have my chat, my Mixer chat up there. So that's how I can follow along with chat in there. So Mixer says they support up to 10K for a bitrate. Wow, that's pretty cool. And that's for anybody, right? That's not Mixer partners. That's anybody. All right. So the last thing you want to do then is we want to go and set up our audio. Yes, doesn't say for imagery though. Very cool. So this is again a place where your mileage is going to vary on how you set this up. I am using an application called Voice Meter Potato, which is a virtual mixer for my PC. And I know that this looks super scary to some people, but what this allows you to do, and I'm not doing a whole tutorial on this one, if you want to learn how to set this up specifically, there is another Good for Gaming team member, the Frugal Streamer, and he has an amazing set of YouTube tutorials on how to set up everything there is to set up on Voice Meter. And he is the one who taught me how to do everything I know how to do in here. So I don't want to really cover that in this setting. Just know that I have a lot of different inputs. So I have my mic, Discord, my music player, and then I can route each one of these individual things to my stream, and I can control them all individually, okay? So they all look like different inputs. So when you look in here, you're gonna pick your desktop audio. So for me, my desktop audio is Voice Meter input. My microphone is Voice Meter output. My audio 2 is going to be cable B. And then my audio 3 is going to be cable. And when I do this, when I say okay to this, the mixer panel down here is going to fill in. So there you go. So there's my mixer, and I can now adjust volumes in there however I want to from here. I'm gonna leave those the way they are because I don't think it'll affect what's going on over in my stream, but I'm not sure, so I'm just gonna leave those the way they are. So now these will show up if you do your settings here at the global. This is like a global setting here. So if I set my settings up here, no matter what scene I create, these are gonna be my base audio sources. And then anything else you add to a scene is gonna show up as an additional source in your mixer panel. All right, so now let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this. How do you set up OBS to start streaming? So there's a couple things, and I'm going to teach you one pro tip here that I learned that once I learned it, I actually went back and I redid every single one of my OBS profiles because it was such an amazing way to organize your scenes. By day, I am a software architect, software engineer, and we use a concept called a base class where if two things share a lot of the same information, we move all that information into something called a base class, and then we create an inheritance of that base class. So you can have all this, like two people share a bunch of the same stuff, right? They share a name, they share a birth date, they share driver's license number, for example. So you can have a personal info base class, and every person has personal info, so that kind of thing. So taking that same kind of mentality here, we are going to create what's called a base scene, okay? So what we're going to do is you start with scene 1, and I'm actually going to rename this one. And I like to rename my base scenes with some sort of modifier at the beginning. For me, I like to use the dashes. So my scene base, every scene base is going to have a background. And for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of combine a couple different topics here, and I'm going to show you how to do themes. So actually, let me show you that part first. So I like to use a service called Nerd or Die. So if you've heard of these guys, they do custom themes, and if you use Slobs, you probably have seen their stuff in the app store within Slobs. But I will show you some of my stuff here. So I am using the Borderline package right now on my stream. So you get all sorts of alerts, you get all sorts of screens that you can build, and you get this background here. So I have already got this downloaded, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by saying I want to include a media source, which is just a movie. And please feel free to ask questions in chat. I have no problem stopping to answer questions while we go. I'm going to leave... We'll close that one, and I'll come back to those in just a minute. So I said I'm using the Borderline here, so I'm just going to set that up the same way I do over there. And let's say for this one, I would like to do, let's do the rainbow. So within rainbow, you have scenes, and then you have a scene background, which is an MP4 file. That's it. So we want to choose a local file. We want that video to loop. We want it to restart playback when it becomes active. We want to use hardware decoding when available. We want to show nothing when the playback ends. So because we have looping on, this is never going to happen. So I usually just leave that alone. And then this close file when active, if you leave this unchecked, basically it's going to leave that video open in memory even when you leave the scene. So that's why I usually choose to close that when you switch scenes. So when you say OK, boom, now we have this cool background, right? This becomes our background for every scene that we're going to use, and I'll show you what I mean. Now we want to do our very first scene, and we want to start with a starting scene. Now like to organize mine where I put all my base scenes below. So this is the pro tip that I learned that I will never ever go away from. I will do this forever and a day for any themes that I ever use. This is how I get started. You want to add a scene now. Instead of a browser source or a media source, you want to add a scene. And I want to add the scene base. Look at that. So now everything that we just created in the scene base shows up right here. Now, why do I like this? Let's say that 6 months from now, I decide, you know, I don't really want the rainbow. Actually, this is going to be, it'll be clearer if we do the other ones too. So we want do a BRB. Same thing. On an ending. All right, so we have our 3 base scenes, and there's maybe some text in here. We'll put some text in a minute. But you have all this, all this work you put into making these awesome scenes, and you don't want to redo everything. You just want to tweak the borderline package. Maybe you're sick of the rainbow and you want to go to the red and yellow, whatever. Normally, if you didn't have the base scene, you would have to go to each individual one and replace the background for every single scene that you have. Because we did it in a base scene, I only have to change it in one place and it propagates through every scene now. So if I don't like that scene background anymore and I want to use something else, I go to my base scene and I pick the new one that I want. So if I want to go to red and yellow instead, now every scene that I had that scene base in, it now shows the change. And that's really powerful if you are kind of like me. I like to change my streams up a lot. I like to move themes around and do different things. So changing it in one place saves me so much time when I want to kind of rearrange things. All right. So we'll leave the red and yellow on now. I did that just for illustration, so I'm not set on a set of colors. But what you can do now is we want to start adding the things that are specific to the individual scenes. So for example, the text. So this theme that I have, the text is, and actually I need to turn that down. It looks like my mic is a little bit high. Music is a bit high too. All right, is that better? Is the audio level a little bit better there? Because I want to make sure that I'm not blasting your eardrums out there. All right, so I'm going to do another media source this time. This time I'm going to call it my starting text. And I'm going to loop this again. I'm going to close it when it's inactive. And I'm going to go and pick from the red and yellow, since you want to keep, if you're using a theme, you want to keep it all together and use the assets for the theme that you're on. In this case, I'm going to do stream starting. Okay, and it automatically drops it at the 0, point of the scene. So there are some tools here. You can click and drag and move it around, you know, if that's your thing. But what I like to do, if you right click on the object in the scene, go to transform, they give you these options to fit to screen, stretch to screen, center to screen, center vertically, center horizontally. So for me, I want to center to screen, and that's just going to move it to the center of the screen. And that's it for that one. Now we come back and we do our BRB, and we're going to do the exact same thing on that one. One thing I will warn you is you cannot have a scene that shares the same name as a source in a scene. So for example, my scene is called BRB. I could not have a source that's called BRB also. OBS will yell at you if you try to do that. So just keep that in mind. Want the be right back text. Loop that, and we want to close that when we're done. Again, we're going to do the transform. We're going to center that. Last one is the ending. So I'll breeze through this one. Ending. All right, so that gives us our 3 main scenes. Now there's a 4th main scene that we're gonna want, and that's the scene where you're playing your games. So we're gonna do our stream scene then. Now, this one doesn't get the scene base, right? Because we want to be able to make sure that we can put other stuff in here and see it. If you put that scene base in here, you're going to have the background all the time, and you're not going to be able to see anything. So I'm going to leave that empty for right now. Okay, so we're at the point now where we probably want to start filling in our alerts. Okay, so there are 2 different alert systems that you can use for your streams. One is Streamlabs, which I'm going to go in depth tonight and show you that. And 2, Stream Elements. They both offer the same sort of thing, just in a different way. So it's really kind of up to you which service you want to use. I will tell you that Nerd or Die is now supporting both Streamlabs and Stream Elements. So if you buy a package from them, chances are it's going to work in both places. And it's super simple to install. They just have a link that you open up, and it pulls everything into your Streamlabs. You log into your Streamlabs or you log into your Stream Elements, it pushes everything to your profile, and then just it sets almost everything up for you. It's really kind of slick. All right, so we're gonna go into Streamlabs so I can show you some stuff here. All right, so you're looking at my Streamlabs alert box settings. So you go to streamlabs.com if you don't already have an account. What's important to know here, though, is you have to sign into Streamlabs with the credentials of the streaming service you're going to use. So Streamlabs works with both Mixer and Twitch. So you got to remember what one you're going to be working on. So if you're going to be streaming to Mixer, log in with Mixer. If you're going to be streaming to Twitch, log in with Twitch. Because you have a completely different set of alerts for both services, okay? And they're kept separate from each other on purpose. So when you log in the first time, you're going to get your dashboard, which is your analytics screen. You go into Alert Box, and then here you get the you can get the link to your URL. And it's obviously blurred out because I don't want to show that, and I will show you how to use this in a moment. But I'm going to keep the screen blurred out. Okay, just because I don't want to give up my URL for that. It's kind of like a stream key, so you don't want to share that because other people can get that and use that, and I don't want that. So what I've done is I have imported my Nerd or Die alert package, and what that does is on this screen you have your tests all along the top here, and then you have how you actually set them up. So if you go into your general settings, you can set some basic things. So how long does the basic alert last? How do you want the text to show up on your alert? I don't know what new alert parries are because I've never used that. Oh, so if you get a second alert during an alert, it will stop the first alert to show you the second alert. That's what that one does. And a profanity filter. So replace bad words with stars. We're gonna do hide messages with bad words. So again, this is all personal preference here. I like to keep my stream family friendly, teen or better. So for me, I want to just hide the bad words. I don't even want it to be something where we'll have to ask, well, what is that? We're gonna leave that one. Actually, I'm gonna save that. So now you see that I get these little things up here. That tells me my alert box was saved, and it set the profanity filter on that. Next thing I want to do is I want to set the follow. Oh, can I test that feature? Sure, you can test that feature. The only way you're going to be able to test that feature is probably with an Extra Life donation, but I don't know if it's going to filter that one out, actually. I know what he wants to do. I'm trying to think how you can test that out because I don't know how I would test that. All right, so if you now we're going to set up our follow alert. So again, depending on whether on Mixer or on Twitch, a lot of these are the same. The only thing you're going to see a little different is bits. You know, obviously you get bits in Twitch, where you get embers and spark here. So there's a couple different things. So stickers are one of those. And this, I don't know what this rallies is. So this is a new thing that they have in. I don't know what that test effect rallies is. So I'm going to enable my follow alerts. I want this format, this layout. You can choose how they get fade in, fade out, or whatever kind of transition to get in and out. Now, because I'm using a template, a lot of this is empty. Pizza. Now, that's really weird that that's not showing up, because that should show up with a... So if I test that, it shows up.
Got a little Swedish there.
So this is something new. The stickers and the rallies are something new that got added here recently to Streamlabs. So they may still have a bug in that one. I'm not sure. Yeah. I might have to play with that a little more. Oh, that's a pretty cool corgi doggo there. I like that one. Sent hype. Yeah. Sent sticker. So I'm not sure. Is that a sticker that you're actually sending? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's the actual sticker or not. Anyway, so like I said, since I'm using a themed alert, a lot of this is going to be empty, and where the modifications to my alerts are in these custom fields. So Nerd or Die has put up a whole set of custom fields that we're allowed to tweak. So in this case, I can tweak the colors, I can tweak the scaled size, the fonts, all sorts of stuff. And then you can do variations, and you can use the original custom variables and copy them over into the variations, and then just tweak those so you can have n number of variations that you want. So when you make those changes and you want to test the follow, you can just go up there and test the follow, and that shows up. Hey, I'm following myself. Thank you so much. Welcome to the community. Subscriptions are the same thing. Resubs are the same. Hosting is the same. But let's look at Extra Life. Can we back up for 1 second? How did you define a base scene name? Absolutely. Let's go back to that. Yeah. So when you first start up OBS, you're going to have just a blank scene. And I renamed it. So you right click on it to rename. And I gave it the scene base name. Yeah. Then I put in the content that I want every scene to have. So I want every scene to have this scene background. So this is a media source. Okay. Once you have that, then you can go to the scene. You can create a new scene. Plus, call it scene 2 for now. Add a source. Add a scene source. And then choose the double dash scene base, or whatever you call your scene base. Do that, that automatically gets put in there. We're gonna delete that one because we don't really need that one, since I got what I need. Captain, does that cover it? Any questions specifically about that? Okay, cool. All right, so let's talk Extra Life, okay? So, first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go into your settings. You're going to need to go into integrations. And you're going to want to hook up Extra Life. So I said earlier that Streamlabs and Extra Life have a partnership. You know, they have this specific integration for Extra Life. So use it. If you're going to do Extra Life, use that. The other option that you can do is this charity streaming option. And so what you can do here is you can see all the different charities that they support. And the list is huge. Okay. So if you have for example, maybe you're doing World Vision. I don't know. You get some sort of participant ID from World Vision for your fundraising. You can tie alerts directly to that charity. Okay? This is super powerful. And this is something that not a lot of people know about because they only added this. I want to say early last year Streamlabs added this, and it wasn't a feature that they really kind of publicized. But I believe that this works with Donor Drive. So I believe Donor Drive and Streamlabs must have teamed up to do this, because with the participant ID, that's how Donor Drive kind of works. And Donor Drive is the back end side for Extra Life. So the Extra Life webpage and the Extra Life webpage and the way that you donate to Extra Life is all done through Donor Drive. Tiltify is also an option there and a good choice. Okay, so let me talk about Tiltify, because I don't think Tiltify is in this option. It's in the one before it. Make sure I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, okay, so that's not in here. So I'm actually gonna set this. I'm actually gonna disable this one because I don't want to get things confused. So I'm gonna actually do that. I'm gonna go back. So Tiltify, yeah. So if you have a Tiltify account and you are hooked into multiple Tiltify campaigns, you can certainly hook into here and use that as well. What do you guys recommend for ease of use for people who want to donate and don't want to wait for it? I don't know. I'm guess I'm not sure what you're asking. So people can donate anytime during your stream, but the alert that's gonna come up, it takes time. Specifically for Extra Life, it takes time to get that event into Streamlabs, and there's nothing that any of us can do to control that. It's all kind of based on the back end programming for that one. So are you asking specifically how do you get real-time donation alerts? Because this is pretty close to real time as you're gonna get, short of the text message that you get on your phone. So once you hook in your integrations, so the Nightbot command gives the donation link, right? Yep. So for example, there you go. Okay, so I put the donation link up. Yep. And they click that, and they go to the Extra Life site, and they make the donation. I will probably receive a text message on my phone immediately. Big effing deal. Welcome. Thank you for the follow, brother. Oh, I gotta fix that. It wrap the text around. Oh, I think he means they don't want to wait for the bot to post the URL. Can you post the URL? Oh. I got what you're saying. All right. If you're on Twitch, they have a partnership again with Extra Life, and they created a special panel that goes beneath your screen, and they can donate directly from Twitch. You don't have to post the link or anything like that. It can go directly in the from that button. The caveat here is if they do that, they have to have Amazon Pay set up. So they have to have one click or buy with one click set up in Amazon, and then they have to have Twitch and Amazon accounts linked together, and they can use the Amazon Pay. That's the only way it works to do it that way. The other thing you can have people do, your Extra Life campaign page now has whatever streaming service you want integrated into your page. So if you're streaming on Twitch, it'll show your Twitch window there. If you're streaming on Mixer, it'll show your Mixer window there. They can watch you from your Extra Life campaign page and donate right from there as well. Mixer, on the other hand, doesn't have that ability to do like the panel, but what I did on mine is in the description underneath, I put my link in there, and then I have the bot command where I can tell people, here, type in !donate to bring it up, or they can use the panel in Twitch, or they can use the link underneath my video. So on Twitch, when I watch Dave, he has the Tiltify button when on mobile. That must be from the Tiltify panel I have. Yeah, so there's a couple different panels. So Good for Gaming does more than just Extra Life streaming. So they stream to support lots of different charities, and they use Tiltify for things that are not Extra Life related. So in that case, you may be seeing their Tiltify button, but Dave, I don't know if you have the Twitch panel set up for Extra Life there. I'd have to go double check that one. But it's a really cool add-on to Twitch. If you don't have that put in, it's called Extra Life Charity something or other. If you search for that panel, if you search for Extra Life, it'll come up. It's really cool. I think I do, but I don't like that it's only Amazon Pay. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, because it's, on the one hand, Twitch and Amazon are, and they're owned by the same company, and so they want to keep it there. And I get that they want to keep the same ecosystem so that you don't have to leave, but you can always put your URL as a link in a custom panel, direct people to that. You can do that. You can also put it on stream. I'll show you how to put a text label in here if you want to do. So what I do is I have my own personal domain that I reroute back to Extra Life. You can do that. You can do a bit.ly shortened link, and then you can always have that on screen. I'm also going to show you how to put in your Extra Life overlay at the top, so that information is there. So yeah, you have options. And I'm also going to talk about the chatbot, because it's important. You'll notice like that my Streamlabs message, I don't know, 6 or 7 messages ago that came up for the register with Extra Life. Nobody put a command in for that, but I have a timer set up, and that will go ahead and put that message out into chat for me on a regular basis. All right, so you've got all this hooked up. I think we covered that pretty well. You can now go back to Alert Box, go to Extra Life donations, and again, you get the same basic options. Now here, you notice I got a bunch of other stuff going on in here. This is because Extra Life donations are not covered under the theme, the alert themes that I have. So I had to do the work myself to make this one. So let's go through this. What is the template you want your message to say? So I want the name of the person, donated amount of money via Extra Life. That's what I want my message to say underneath it. This is different from the message that a person donating will put in their donation message. They're two different things. So this will say, Dave donated $5 via Extra Life, and then if he chose to put a message in his donation, that will show up underneath this. I want my text to have the wiggle. I chose a GIF that I wanted, so this is Samaria. Samaria is the 2018-2019 champion for Children's National, which is the hospital I play for. So it was really awesome that she was a national champion this year, and she's got all sorts of gifts. So this is the gift that I chose. I have a sound effect called Rain Down, which is a song, and I'm gonna test this so you can see it in action when I'm all done. You can set your volume for how long you want. You can set the duration of how long you want the alert to show. It feels so good when you do that, right, Dave? There you go. Exactly. There are some things you can do here. You can open the donator message and you can change some stuff on that. You can disable it. If you don't ever want the message from the donator to show up, you can turn that off. You can also do alert variations. So I don't know if anyone here was checking out Rufio's stream last night, but Rufio has his Extra Life alert set up where if you donate $100, you get a different alert from when someone donates less than $100. And that's how he has that set up. So you can choose custom variations on different dollar amounts. Okay, and what this looks like is this. I like to keep my Extra Life donations up as long as possible. But you know, to make sure everyone gets a chance to read the messages that are there so that people see that. But yes, the jump scare, that can be done in the add a variation with default settings. You can go through here and then you can set your conditions. So I would like to do that if the donation is at least 6.66, and then you can do that, and you can say, you can change this to, let's say we want, oh, by the way, so these are all things I've already got in my account, but you can drag and drop any GIF that you want in here. So I have one that I had set up a while ago. And the sound was... and then I usually bump that one up. I'm not going to enable any custom stuff, but we're going to save that, and then need to save this first. And I think we should be able to test that. And there you go. Now we have a jump scare alert set up. Pretty cool, right? And you can do that for anything. If you want to do LEET, 1337, you want to break it down that way. Whatever you want to do, it's really kind of up to you however you want to set that up. Tiltify donations, exactly the same. You have the option to set your own GIF, set your own sounds. A Tiltify donation looks like this right now. So that is their default alert. This whatever walking zombie guy, that's their default. So I've got all of these turned on just because I wanted to make sure you could see them all. But if you don't do some of this stuff, so you can turn those off, and then the buttons go away too. You can also see my link changed up there too, so I'm actually going to leave that on because I want my link to remain the same. I don't want it to change on me. But you can turn some of these off, and that will turn some of these buttons off then. So, and that's really that. Let me go back to charity streaming donations. So if you are doing something other than Extra Life and you use that charity streaming donation integration, this is where you set your alerts up for those. So are there any questions about alert setup? This is just a setup. Now we're going to talk about how we get it into our stream. I don't know. Let's go find out. Back up. There you go. So you'll be able to use that if you have a singular participant ID. you can give people the participant ID and they should be able to use that. Use that with their integration. Yeah, it'll be cool. Everyone, you can have unified. Well, people can use the same ID and they can have their own alerts that go with it, which would be kind of cool. So you don't have to share that with everybody if you don't want to. All right, so the last thing we need now is we got our alerts set up the way we want. Now we want to incorporate that into our stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my link. And I'm going to minimize this. Now what I want to do is I'm going to create another base scene, but this time I'm going to call it, and this will become apparent quickly why I'm doing this. Alright, so from here I'm going to create a new, I'm going to add a new source, and it's going to be a browser source. And I am going to wipe out the custom CSS. This is, you don't have to do this. It's a habit I've gotten into of wiping that out. I'm going to shut down source when not available. I'm going to refresh the browser scene when it becomes available. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete that. And I'm actually going to put that in now. So I'm going to do this. I'm blurring out the screen so that you can't see the text, okay? Because it's like a stream key. I don't want to give that out. Okay, so now we have this what looks like an empty box, right? And I'm going to center that on the screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to test that out. There you go. So that should work. You should be able to see that in there, and you should have seen it twice. You probably would have seen it in mine, and so I have my screen covered. I just want to put this over here so I can see what that does. Yeah, so you see my big one, and then you see the one that I just made in the background there. So what I'm going to do now is, what screens do you want your alert box on? So I made this base scene because I'm probably going to want this in more than one place. And if for some reason, maybe you go back through and you turn off some of those checkboxes, well, that link changes. Now you're going to have to go to every scene and change your alert box in every scene. Or you put it in a base scene and you change it in one place and it propagates to all your scenes. That is the real power of the base scene concept. So I'm going to go into my starting scene. I'm going to add a new scene source. Pick my alert box. I'm going to drop that one in there. Now, you'll notice that it dropped it in full screen. Because the scene that it came from is a full scene or full screen, this one is going to be as well. But if you test that alert, it's the size that it was, and it also scales. So you can scale that down to whatever you want. So if you want that a little smaller, you can make that a little smaller. And then we can use the transform here to center horizontally. Test that again. There you go. So now you have your alert box right there. We're going to do the same thing for BRB. All right, now I want to show you this cool trick. So you have these scenes that all have the same components, and you want to put everything kind of in the same place on every scene. So what I want to do is I want to take the location of my alert box, and I want to make that be the same location on every scene. Right click on the alert box, go to transform, copy transform. So what that does is it copies the XY position of this box. I'm going to go to BRB. And I'm going to say alert box, transform, paste, transform. Boom. I don't have to move it. It automatically resized it to the same size as the other one and put it in the exact same spot as the other one. transform again, and paste transform. All right, so that's done. Now we want to start building out our streaming window, right? So we know that we're going to want the alert box in here. So let's go ahead and drop that in here. So I'm gonna just, by default, I'm just gonna put that there for right now. We can move that around later if, you know, we want to not have that there, or we want to have it center of the screen, whatever. For right now, that's what I'm gonna do. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to get my extra life overlay in. So what's an overlay, right? An overlay is a picture or something that you want to put on top of the game that you're playing, okay? So what Donor Drive has done is they've given us a set of overlays, or not a set, they have given us an overlay that we can use, and it's right on your extra life page. So we can go to here, it's the pencil, and then here's the overlay. Add a graphic overlay to your stream, right? So copy that. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna add a browser source. Alright, so here's another pro tip. If you want your overlay, if you want this progress bar on multiple scenes, make it a base scene. If you're only going to use it in this one scene, then just use a browser source on here. So I usually only do it here. Okay, so there's my ID, and that's my overlay right there. And I'm gonna make this be, I'm gonna leave that and see what that looks like. Alright, so you can see I don't like that. That's way too big, way too wide, right? So we can go back into there. We can say I want my width to be 1920. And I want my height to be 150. Right? So I want it the width of, I know that I'm doing 1080p, so my width is going to be 1920. But I don't really know what the height's going to be, so this is going to scale it for you. Why is that too wide? Oh, I wonder if, oh, because I did one of the settings wrong. Base canvas, yeah, that should be right. All right, let's do this. Let's delete that, put that back in, and do that over again. Browser. You selected 1200 something earlier now. I did 1920 by 150, so I'm going to do 1920 by 100 now. I'm going to delete my custom CSS. Even though that doesn't do anything, I'm going to take that out of there and refresh that. There we go. Alright, so another little known trick here. You see these little red handles that you can use to grab? If you press the Alt key and grab that, you can crop. So I could crop that out if I didn't want all of that. So if you pick the wrong size and you make it too big, that's okay. Press Alt and grab that handle and move that up there. So there you go. So now I have my bar. This will show you your most recent donor, your top donor, and this will update as donations come in. Now there is a slight, there's again a slight delay from Extra Life and Donor Drive, but this will update in real time, and there's nothing you have to do about it. It just works. It's fantastic. I love it. There are other things you can do, more advanced things you can download. I wrote my own Windows service that just provides the text for you if you just want the text and not the bar. So there's definitely some other options you can use. So that gives us our extra life bar. Now we want to put in the webcam. And this is where it's going to get tricky, because what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to turn the webcam off on my main stream so that I can add it over here, right? So I'm going to do that now. And we're going to add a webcam source over here. So video capture device. We're going to choose the HD webcam. And device default. Custom to it's not gonna let me change it tonight. So some webcams will let you choose what video format you're using. I don't know why it's not gonna let me choose that tonight, but let's do drop down, not a typing box. Well, I'm gonna do 720p. Match my output, and I'm gonna just because I know that that's what my camera does. So yeah, again, mileage may vary for you guys. I want to deactivate when I'm not showing, and everything else looks good. So you'll notice I have the green screen, and you didn't see that before, so I'm going to show you how to do green screens. Alright, so there's that. Now, you want to get rid of that green screen. Go into, you right click on the webcam, you go into filters, and we're going to add an effects filter called chroma key. We are going to filter that out. So you want to adjust your similarity until you get where you want it to be. So I want it till I can't see much of, you can see that there's still a little fuzzy, and you can barely make out some of the green. So mine is usually between 400 and 450. So 450 is a little too much because you can see now it's starting to take out part of my face. Yo, Mega Jake, welcome to the community. How you doing tonight? So this is gonna vary depending on your lighting. So I have two really big lights on both sides of me right there, and so my camera with all the light, it works really well for green screening. If you don't have a lot of light, green screening is going to be a little hard for you, but have no fear, I have another solution for you. I'll talk about that in just a second. So like I said, between 430 and 450 works pretty well for me. I'm going to go with that. And boom, there. Now my green screen is gone, and you can see what's behind me. So if you don't have a green screen at home, one of the things you can do is XSplit offers a very cheap digital solution to this. It's called VCam, or virtual cam. I tried it out for a while before I had my green screen, and it is a really good solution for people on a budget who either don't have the space for a green screen, or the green screen's just not in their budget. And what it does is it taps into your webcam, and then it uses software to do the chroma key for you, so that no matter what's behind you, you don't need a screen at all. No matter what's behind you, it can filter out that and make it give you the effect that you are using a green screen. So again, it's called XSplit Virtual Cam. It's $25 for a lifetime license. They update a lot. You can do lots of different things with it that you could normally do with a green screen. So if you wanted to put a background behind you, you could do that. If you want to filter out the background, you can do that. It'll even filter out your chair if you want it to. If you just want your body there, it will filter out your chair. So lots of cool stuff you can do there. All right, so that gives you your camera. We're gonna make this a little bit smaller. And then one of the things that this theme package has, will it get rid of my second chin? Yes, Dave, it absolutely will get rid of your second chin. All right, so I want to put a frame around my camera. So I'm gonna go and add a new media source. I'm gonna browse to where my scene stuff is. So this is webcams, and I have a 16:9 camera turned on right now. So we're gonna loop that because it's a video file, and then we want to close that when inactive. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my camera in here. I'm gonna fill this in. Okay, now I'm going to create a group, and I will tell you why I'm going to do that in a minute. So you get all this ordered the way you want, right? Inside your scene source right here, you right click on the webcam and say group selected. Oops. Grab the frame and the webcam. Right click and say group selected items. What this does is it makes it into one item, and now you can move it around by clicking just any part of it. And when you scale it, it scales both at the same time in the group. So before, if I didn't have that, I'd have to go scale my video and then go scale my frame and then decide later, oh, I want that different. So by grouping it, it puts it all together in one piece. I'm gonna move this down here. I kind of like to have mine in the lower left, but if you want yours in the lower right or wherever, it's, again, completely up to you, personal preference on that part. Okay, so that gives us that. The next thing we want to do is how do we get our game in here now? So there's a couple different options, and it really depends on the game you're playing. I have games that require different options because they don't provide, oh, show that again, how to group. Okay, so the first thing you do is you get two items that you want, put together. And so I'm going to actually make that a little bit bigger. I'm going to put my webcam inside of it, lined up the way I want. All right, and then using the control key, I'm going to select the webcam frame and the webcam. You can see now there's two things highlighted there, two things selected. There's also, you can see down here that two things are selected down here. With those two things selected, right click on them in the sources window and say group selected items. That creates the group here. Give it a name. Now the other thing I like about this one is if you group a lot of stuff together, you can actually declutter this sources window too, because now I can collapse that. I don't really care what makes it up because it's all, to me, it's just one item now. So I can collapse that, and then you can also turn the whole thing off if you need to. You can, turn that off and make it hide it, and you turn it all back on, and it works. I love that feature. Love that feature. Put ourselves back down there. So the next thing we're going to talk about is how to get your games in. Okay. There are three options for getting a game in your stream. First one is a window capture. Second one is a game capture. The third is a display capture. What I'm doing right now is a display capture. So I have two monitors. My monitor over here has got my OBS that I'm streaming from. My monitor over here has another instance of OBS that I'm doing all the editing on, right? And I'm capturing this entire display which is why I can show you anything that comes up over here, right? So anytime I want to show something on stream, I just bring it up over here and you guys can see it then, right? That's display capture. Window capture just set up a scene for Gears 5. Was happy to see game capture worked. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, when game capture works, it's amazing. When game capture doesn't work, it sucks. Then you got to figure out what's the right way to do it. So the way that the window capture works is it's looking for a specific window handle name. Okay, so in this case, I don't have anything specifically open. Probably should open a game, but I don't have one open. Alright, so I'm going to open Tabletop Simulator real quick here. Okay, so Tabletop Simulator is open, and now let's go back into OBS. And let's say we want to do the window capture. So I need to delete that one because I screwed that up without having one open first. So Tabletop Simulator should be in there now. And we want to match title. Or the title must match. So I'm actually going to use title must match. So, and I want to capture my cursor, and I don't want to enable multi-adapter compatibility. Okay, so now if I bring up Tabletop Simulator, this is where it gets a little hairy because of how I have to stream this tonight. I was hoping you'd be able to see both in there, but maybe this isn't going to work in this case. This is one thing I did not test beforehand was how to do this part. All right, so we're gonna do let's see if game capture works for this one. I think game capture does. Let's remove that. So the way game capture works. Game capture will, as long as the developers of the game have implemented it correctly, it basically provides hooks that streaming software can use to just know that it's a full screen game and it will play. So I want to do, in this case, you can do capture any full screen application, but you'll notice my Tabletop Simulator is not in full screen right now. So I'm going to actually choose this one to do capture specific window. Capture Tabletop Simulator. There we go. Now you can see it. And then I'm going to leave the rest of that the way it is. And now this one, what I want to do now is I want to transform that to fill the screen. Right click on that source and then go to transform, fit to screen. And now you notice that it's in the wrong order. So what you're going to want to do is your windows that have your games in them should always be the bottommost thing. Your webcam should be the next most bottom thing. Your alert box should always be the topmost thing, because you want your alert box to show up on top of everything else. Weird guacamole. Thank you for that sticker. I don't know why the stickers aren't showing up in alert box right now. It's something I have to look at later after this, but thank you for that sticker. tacos and stars and pizza. Much food. Okay, so now we're starting to bring it all together, right? So I don't know if there's anything else you guys usually put in your streams. This is kind of, I like to try and keep mine minimized as much as possible. One, it doesn't, you know, I have one computer here. Some people who have two computers and stream from one and play on the other, it's not really an issue. But since I stream and play from the same computer, I usually try to keep my overlays to a minimum, just so that it doesn't have to do so much processing on the stream side. So this is where I would stop as far as putting together the overlay. I would stop there, but there's a couple other things I want to show, specifically for Extra Life now. So this is something that I have learned through doing the Extra Life stream team, and it's really useful, and I want to show it to you guys because I think you'll find it useful too. And again, this will apply to other charities, provided other charities give you promotional material that you can use. Okay? So Extra Life is really awesome about this. You can go to the your Extra Life page. You can go to Community, Toolkits. There's a multimedia toolkit and there is a broadcasting toolkit. The broadcasting toolkit has some amazing resources for you here. There are channel badges. So these are meant for Twitch. You can put them down below if you have. You can set these up to be a hyperlink back to your campaign page if you want. But if you're trying to reach $5,000, you can put that on there and say, help me reach 5K. They hit that button and it takes you to you have Twitch redirected to your Extra Life page. There's donation progress. So these aren't real time. They're kind of in the middle. If you're halfway to your goal, if you're close to your goal. There's general support. And then they give you templates to create your own. So if you're a graphic artist, you kind of like this kind of thing, you can open the PSD files and you can edit them to be whatever you want them to be. The other thing that I really wanted to show tonight were the overlays and the miracle stories. So let's do the overlays first. If you want a little more extra lifey, full-on Extra Life themed stream, you can go into here and choose the transparent, and they give you these cool overlays that have the Extra Life logo and social media and stuff on it. These are the ones that we as Extra Life stream team members, we have to use these when we stream on their channel, but they provide that to the community if you wanted to use that on game day for yourself. The minimalist ones are kind of cool because they don't take up a whole lot of your screen, and they give you a lot of real estate to show different stuff if you want to. Those are your overlays. Miracle stories are the other thing, and I get asked so many times, how do you get those cool commercials in your stream? How do you do that? Well, the first thing I do is I come in here and I download the miracle stories and I download the miscellaneous clips. That's step number one, right? So you download these. And then what I do, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set a scene up like this in this stream, but then I'm actually going to change to one that's already done in my stream that I'm running right now. Okay. So first thing I do is I'm going to create a miracle story, not game over yet. And what I want to do is I want to have this set so that if I play a commercial and I walk away, it doesn't go to a black screen like you see right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a scene, and I'm actually going to add my Be Right Back scene. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add media source. Not game over. It's a local file. I don't want it to loop, but I do want it to close when it's done. I have these downloaded in Extra Life Broadcasting Kit, Miracle Stories, Miscellaneous Clips. It's not game over. Okay. So you'll notice that it's playing now, right? But you can't hear anything. And that is by design. If you want to hear the commercials that are playing, you have to right click on the speaker icon for it, your mixer, go to Advanced Audio Properties, find it in your Advanced Audio Mixer, not game over, and choose Monitor and Output. Now you guys are probably hearing it twice because you.
My passion for this stems from when 2 of my kids were born. They had to spend a lot of time in the hospital.
Turn this down just a little bit.
As many of you know, Extra Life began in 2000.
And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my starting screen. Okay. I'm going to turn my cam back on over here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to play that scene for how it would look for you. You know, when you stream it, how your users or how your viewers would see it. So this is what it would look like.
When we all come together and just bring in the charity love, there's no going back. It's the best thing in the world.
My passion for this stems from when 2 of my kids were born. They had to spend a lot of time in the hospital.
As many of you know, Extra Life began in 2008 in memory of Victoria Enman. At that time, it was a local fundraiser for Texas Children's Hospital, where Tori fought her cancer.
At Victoria's house. Hi!
My name is Joellen Inman, and I'm Tori's mom. And this game is not over.
Some families, the game is just beginning. We've got a long ways to go. That road is a long road.
This is your Extra Life money in action.
CHOC is actually building an entire wing dedicated to children's mental health.
I play video games. I raise money for Extra Life.
I am streaming for Amy.
El 100% de ese dinero se queda local en tu hospital o fundación a la que tú representes.
Extra Life Super Mega Ultra Charity Live Stream Extravaganza of Awesomeness.
Alright, so you noticed that when the video was over, it faded to a black screen and then you saw the be right back. And that's by design. I want that because if I have to play a commercial break because I need to go use the bathroom or I want to get some water or whatever, I'm going to step away. I don't want it to come back to a black screen. I want it to come back to a screen where someone at least knows that I stepped away for a moment. So there's another option you can do for that. And I'm actually going to show that right now. So Nope, not that. Because that's going to suck up some memory if I keep that open. Alright. If you go into or soon here. I'm actually gonna do that right now. There's another way to play videos during your stream. And I like to do this other option when I want to play a string of videos. So I'm doing a long charity marathon, but I need to take a 10 or 15 minute break because I want to get food or I need to take care of something. So what I'll do is, what you want to do is you want to download VLC Media Player. Okay, it's an open source media player that you can put on your system. The key here is that you install VLC Video without OBS running, so OBS has to be closed, right? Install VLC Video. The next time you come into OBS, you'll have this new option as a source called VLC Video Source. Okay, and I'm gonna do. I want to do an extra long commercial break. I don't want to loop this because I only want it to play one time through. I know how long it is. I know how long I have. I know how long I need. Okay. And I'm going to say add files. And what I did is I went through already and I made a playlist of videos. So I have a commercials folder and I have this long commercial break playlist. So an XSPF file is a VLC playlist file. So I'm going to drop that in there. And I'm actually going to show you what that looks like. Oh, crap. Hit stop instead of pause. Alright, so the playlist is... Alright, so what you see here, these are all... This is why I love the VLC option. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of having the downloaded MP4 file, right? You only have a YouTube video or a Vimeo file or a Vimeo link, whatever. What VLC allows you to do is you can add a new source. So you can say add file. Add advanced open network. You can paste in a URL. So you can paste in a YouTube URL. And it will somehow, with some sort of black magic, figure out where the video is on the YouTube page, pull out just the video, and play that for you in your playlist, which is exactly what you see here. So some of these are YouTube videos, some of these are Vimeo videos. But it's all of the videos that Children's National, the hospital that I play for, have provided for us to be able to use during our streams. And I just have this, it ends up being something like 10 minutes, I think. 10 or 15 minutes when it's all said and done. And it just constantly plays back to back to back. So there you go. So it would play. So this is a Miracle Child story. This is a story about kids who are in the hospital and they all share their when I get home story. So every kid that enters the doors of a hospital, if they're going to stay there for a long time, they're going to miss stuff from home. This is a story they interviewed a bunch of kids about what they missed about home and what they couldn't wait to get home to. Another Miracle Child story, another Miracle Child story. These two, Tess and Alexander, are two miracle kids from Children's National. I got to meet them in person. They're really cool. And that's why I got to talk with them and hang out with them. Karsten is another miracle child. And then there was Reimagining How We Care for Children with Cancer, which is just, I don't know, it's a really cool video about childhood cancer and how Children's National is going about treating kids with cancer. So it's a really cool video. You can put all that together. Now, if you do have the MP4, then absolutely use the media source. If you're trying to use a web page, build a playlist and put them and then play the playlist. Now, I will say that you can add the URL here, so you can do add path URL. You can put the YouTube link here, but there's a bug in the VLC plugin to OBS that doesn't honor the loop setting. Okay, so it's just going to constantly play that video over and over and over again, whether or not you choose to loop playback or not. So maybe that's what you want, and maybe that's how you want it to work. Then that'll work for you. But I don't. I want mine at the end to fade to black and then go to the be right back screen. I'm going to leave that in there. That should fill up. You should see this play. And again, you don't hear any audio on this because I have that turned off. But if I were playing that on my other side, you would hear all the audio because it's being piped through. So the other thing about this is you can't fast forward through these. So you kind of have to, if you come back and it's not done playing, you either have to wait for it to be done, or you have to switch off this scene and it just stops in the middle. It's, you know, however you want to. I'm actually going to turn that off. I'm going to remove that because I don't want that in there. That one back on, and we can go back to the stream. So, are there any specific questions you guys have that I haven't covered yet? Because there's one more topic I want to cover tonight, and that is stingers and stream control. So scene transitions using stingers, and then stream control using an application called Touch Portal. And I actually have 2 licenses of Touch Portal to give away tonight to 2 lucky viewers. If not, we're gonna go right into stingers and why and how to use those, and then we'll do the stream roll. All right. So on your window, your main OBS window here, you have the scene transition. If you click on that tab and choose, the plus sign, you're gonna want to choose okay, so this is different for everybody. You know, maybe you want a swipe transition, so I can show you what that looks like. We'll do swipe, and we'll do left to right, swiping, yes, I don't know. So that's what your transition might look like. If that's what you want, cool, use the swipe. Right? I don't want the swipe. You can do the fade, do the slide look like. Well, apparently I picked the slide, not the other one before, so I guess slide and swipe are very, very similar. You can see that one is slightly different. I can't really slow it down. You can choose the, you can adjust the softness of it. There, that's pretty clear what it's doing there. Okay. So, those are your options for built-in ones. But we want to use a custom one, and those are called stingers. Stingers are short video files that are used in scene transitions. They're made in lots of different ways, but I have several that are provided as part of course, the theme package that I have. The red and yellow. We're gonna go to Stinger. We're gonna pick the, so this is a kind of like a web enhanced video file called a WebM. We're gonna pick that Stinger. Now, every Stinger is a little bit different. I have already read the documentation for this Stinger and I know what settings to choose here. Your mileage is going to vary for whatever Stinger you choose. But basically, the transition point is the length of the Stinger video. This Stinger happens to be 1 second, so we're gonna make this 1,000 milliseconds. Okay, so 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. Some Stingers have audio, some don't. So if you want to hear the transition because you know that your Stinger has audio, you're going to want to change the audio monitoring to be monitor and output. If you don't care, if you don't want to hear it, you can just leave it to monitor off. Mine, this one that I'm going to use doesn't happen to have any audio, but I'm going to change that anyway. The there's the preview. That's what it looks like. So what that does now is that is automatically assigned as your transition for all scenes. So now if you go through here and you change, boom. Look at that red box there. So there, so now you've got your transitions in. Pretty cool, right? Alright, so now, how do I do the cool transitions from scenes without having to touch OBS? So, if you're playing a full screen game on your PC, typically you're not going to be able to get out of the game without alt-tabbing and then moving your mouse over to OBS. And in a lot of games, when you do that, you lose focus of the window, and sometimes your OBS screen goes black then because it actually minimizes your game. Some games are good about, even if you go off, it'll still show it in the game window. Again, it all depends on whether you're using window capture, game capture, or display capture. But, you know, so I did this for a long time without ever having the luxury of being able to control the stream with an external piece of hardware. So a while back, I got a Stream Deck, right? And you've probably all seen them before, but they are a physical set of buttons that you can use, and you can program to do whatever you want them to do. And it's got a little custom LCD screen back there. You can make each button show whatever you want it to show, and there's even some haptic feedback, like they can vibrate and everything when you touch buttons. So this is very expensive though for a new streamer just getting started. It is to me, it's a huge expense for something that you can get a lot cheaper. So let's put it that way. And I'm going to show you that cheaper resource right now. And I'm going to be able to give away 2 copies tonight. And I'm actually going to use Streamlabs to be able to do that for me. So you're going to kind of get a bonus here and see how you can set up giveaways too. All right, so the application that I'm going to be using is called Touch Portal. And I have their website up. So it's touch-portal.com. Go here to learn all about it. But basically what it does is you have an application that runs on your PC, and then you have a tablet. So for me, I have an iPad mini, but you can use an Android tablet, you can use an Android smartphone, or you can use a iPhone, or you can use an iPad. Whichever kind of setup you have. And as you can see here in the picture, you have the app on the computer, which is what I just showed you. So that's this, right? And then you have your iPad. So here's the iPad. Right? So there's mine. And what you do is you hook it up so that go to Tools. Once you install after you install Touch Portal, you can come in and you get this WebSocket server settings there. And basically what you want to do is you want to enable WebSocket server. If you want to change your port number, you can change your port number, and if you want to enable authentication, you can enable authentication. Basically what this does, what the authentication does, is it prevents somebody else in your house from connecting to your instance of OBS and controlling your scenes without you knowing it. So, you know, if my wife was in the other room and she had Touch Portal on her phone too, and I didn't have enable authentication on, but she knew what port I was on, technically she could connect and she could start changing my scenes on me and totally screw me up. So that's the only reason to put that on and I don't have anyone else here in the house. It was just good practice, best practice to set that up. Okay. So what I'm not going to do right now, I'm not going to turn this on, because as soon as I turn this on, it's going to blow up my OBS, because it's going to say, well, you already have port 444 active for another WebSocket. So, and I don't want to do that. So that's how you end up turning it on. And then in Touch Portal, you would say connect to OBS. And that makes the WebSocket call to OBS, and it connects the application to OBS. And then what that allows you to do, I'm going to go into, we're going to create a new scene here. Alright. So this one, I want to go to, I got that set up. So this is the Streaming 101. So we're going to do navigation, go to page, and we want to go to page Streaming 101. We're going to give it a name. Since I already have this set up in my normal daily setup for this one, I'm just going to create a secondary copy here. I want to make that full screen, and we want to give this a color gradient, for example. So maybe we want red to light red. Okay. So now, what I'm going to show you here is, if we go back on this, it's not there, right? Not there. So we can refresh though, and now it's there. Right? So what we can do in here is we can click in here and go in there. That takes you into my scene. Oops. Need to do the control click on that one. That. Do a control click on that. And now it takes you into my scene control. So I have a button that takes me back to the main menu. I have my scene transition screen. So starting, be right back, stream, and then this is ending, and I forgot to put text on that one, so let's do it. And I'm going to go through everything that was in there in a little bit of detail. So earlier when I copied my link out of Streamlabs, I wanted to blur the screen. So I have an element here that allows me to turn on and off different features. So if I push that, the screen blurs. If I push that again, the screen doesn't blur. These are my scenes that I have set up for commercial breaks. So I have a legacy, which I can show. This is the Children's National Campaign, Grow Up Stronger, which is really cool. They interviewed lots of people who have been treated at Children's Miracle or at Children's National, and who are both young and old today, and have that video. It's really kind of cool. You can post tweets right from here, and then these two buttons, start stream, stop stream. So I kind of wanted to go through one of these real quick. So inside here, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. You saw me do it earlier. You can do navigation to different areas. You can do macros. So the key thing to remember here is Touch Portal is not just a streaming tool. This is a workflow tool that you can use at your desk. Like if you're big into the Adobe world, you know there's tons of keystrokes and macros that you can do. You can program all of that into Touch Portal, and at this a single press of a button on the Touch Portal app on your iPad can send that message to Adobe and do whatever you want it to do. So there's your key press, and it can type text. You can lock your computer, shut down your computer. They added this new logic, so if you want, you can do kind of if, else, and if sort of stuff. I haven't played around with that yet. You can change the visuals of buttons based on when you press them. You can adjust your media, so you can do play, pause, stop, next track, previous track, mute, volume up and down. So anything your keyboard can do with the media controls, that's what those will do. And then you can control anything in OBS. We can do scene selection. So what happens when you push 1, this is saying change the scene to stream starting, mute the desktop audio, mute the mic, mute the Discord, and mute the music that you're... Right, the music? Yes. That's muting all of my audio channels. Okay? Then if you do look at my stream, I do something a little bit, so I change to stream, I unmute, I have it automatically. So this is so I don't have to touch OBS, period. It unmutes my desktop audio, it unmutes my mic, it unmutes Discord, and unmutes my music player automatically. Okay, so instead of me having to click on all these little speakers down here to mute and unmute, it does that for me as part of this sequence, and it's just a single press of the button on the iPad. And then the same if you go to be right back, it mutes a whole bunch of stuff. Okay? Now, if you look at Legacy, this one is going to... Oh, that's not supposed to be there. Legacy is going to switch to the Legacy scene and play that. Now, this one doesn't have the mute in there because I forgot to put all those in there. But typically, when I go to a commercial, I want to mute everything else. Break all those other ones. That is weird how that got put in there. Sure I didn't do that on the other ones because that would have sucked. So here's my tweet I put out before I got on. I was able to send that tweet. It says I'm love on Watch Mixer right now. I want to edit that and say live. Oh, you can't edit that one? So we want to go to Twitter, send a tweet. And whatever you want your tweet to be. Now, if I save that and if I push that, it will send a tweet for me that says I'm live on Mixer right now. So that's pretty cool. And then your stop and start stream. I'm not going to push those now because that will literally stop my stream. But like I said, there's lots of things you can do. You can adjust the grid size to however big or small you want. So if you're on a phone, you can adjust this to be smaller. If you're on an iPad, you can adjust this to be a whole lot bigger. So the buttons for me are like the perfect size. But the other thing you can do is you can pretty much do folders. So if I wanted to put a picture on that one, icon pack, find the folder picture. That one might not be there anymore. Let's just pick this one. And then this one we're just going to save that for right now, but I'm going to create a new page. We're going to do commercials. I think I might already have one called that, so I'm going to rename that with a 2. Notice now I changed my screen size here, or my grid size to 4x2, which is okay. I don't, it's fine. I don't really care. I'm just going to put some stuff in here, you can have it do whatever you want. But I want to do now is I want to go back to the main screen, go into here, and I want to hook that up. So I want to go to page commercials _2, save that. So now if I push that on my iPad, that actually takes you there, and now I can't get, not smart about that. But no way back. And then you can also drag and drop these. So if you don't like where they are, you can drag and drop. If I go back to... I'm going to put an arrow on that one. Back arrow. Again, really simple. You can get totally creative with this and put anything you want in here. I even have an icon pack, and I can show you that in a minute if you see that. That should do that. Set. Yep, so that takes me back. So now if I hold control and I push that, it should take me back to where I want it to go. Oh, it remembers in the... Okay, so that's an interesting way of doing it. Previous page is only remembered on the app, on your iPad. It's not remembered in the Windows desktop app. Let's do, not previous page, but let's do you know where we're coming from. We came from the streaming. There we go. So now it'll take you back. And that's that is a really brief overview of Touch Portal, but here's the difference. The Stream Deck that I have is anywhere from $100 to $150, right? Touch Portal, if you already have a tablet or a smartphone, then your cost is right there, $8.99. That's a one-time fee. That's not a monthly subscription or an annual thing. It's a one-time fee. There are no ads. I mean, you can't beat that. For what it can do, you cannot beat it. All right. So, who in chat wants to get their hands on a copy of Touch Portal? Oh, I realized I didn't cover the whole chatbot part. This went a lot longer than I thought it was going to go. Which is okay, because I want to make sure you guys have all the information. So, I am going to use my cloud bot, which is the cloud-based Streamlabs chatbot. They also have a Windows desktop version, Windows, and I think it works in Linux too. They have a desktop version that you can run as well if you want. The only issue I have with that one is it's not live 24/7. So I have to remember to start it when I'm going to be streaming. So it got a little clunky. There are a couple things in this I don't care for. I much prefer the desktop chatbot, but I read that they're making some changes to this that are going to implement some of the features that I'm missing from the desktop. So I migrated everything over here in hopes that happens pretty soon. But I set up a giveaway for this right now, and I did that. So you go into the giveaways, go into custom, and I created this Touch Portal giveaway. So I want to edit that right now. So this is a custom giveaway. I have a timer enabled for 10 minutes. Everyone can play, but you must be a follower to win. So I give everyone in chat a couple seconds here. If you're not already following me, please go ahead and hit that follow button. Make sure that you're in the list there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually kick this off here. So there's your timer, and there's the message for it. Enter for your chance to win a free Touch Portal license. Giveaway has started. Use the exclamation point giveaway to enter the raffle. So if you want your chance to win this, use exclamation point giveaway now, and you'll be able to see how this all populates and works on the backside. This is something you don't normally get to see a streamer do when they're doing giveaways. This is all hidden from you typically, so I wanted to make sure that you guys get a chance to see this. So you can see there that Good for Gaming got added. So this will basically, you can set that timer for as much or as little as you want, and then it'll automatically end the entries at that time. We use Nightbot on our channel, and I don't love the way it works on Nightbot. Yeah, so there's a lot of options out there for bots. There's Nightbot, there's MooBot, there's all sorts of bots. I have just grown to love the Streamlabs stuff, and the amount of work that they put in and what they give you for free is really nice, which I really like. And there's now a paid option too, so you can do the Streamlabs Prime, and it's $100 a year, I think is what it comes down to. But you get your own web page. You can get your own, if you already have your own domain, you can use your own domain for your website, and you get a whole bunch of cool stuff. So I've thought about doing it, but I don't really stream enough that I could justify the $100 a year cost on that one. So there's got to be some others in chat that want to join in this, because I really want to give away the 2 copies tonight. So that's why we got about 10 minutes for that, so I'll leave it open. Actually, I should post a tweet about that right now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over to a quick commercial. I'm going to send out some social media notes to let people know that the giveaway is going on right now. Maybe we can get a couple more people to come in, and Dave, if you want to do the same, that would be much appreciated. So I'm going to hop over and show you a miracle story. This is Bennett. He was a child that was treated at Children's Miracle Network Hospital. They received a really scary diagnosis when Bennett was very, very little. But I'm happy to report that it has a really happy ending. So let's go ahead and check out Bennett's story, and we'll be right back. Maybe we won't be checking out Bennett's story. I think, oh, I wonder if because I have the VLC thing open, it screwed that up. I bet that was the case. I wonder, did all these break on me?
When I was 3, Children's National helped me beat the odds so I can play with my grandkids.
So I can celebrate 50. When I was 14, Children's National saved my heart so I can bring family together.
So I can help cardiac patients, just like me.
When I was 6, Children's National took care of me so I can serve my country.
So I can do what I love.
So I can give back.
So I can play in the Junior Olympics.
So I can make plays. So I can do this. So I can race my friends. So I can dance. So I can be awesome.
Children's National didn't just help us grow up.
They helped us grow up stronger.
When I was 3, Children's National helped me beat.
Alright, so I posted some messages on Twitter, and I also posted to the Good for Gaming Discord, so hopefully we'll get some yeah, I took your post and retweeted and I tagged Touch Portal in there, so that maybe somebody who follows Touch Portal might see that, and they might hop over here as well. So we'll give it the last 3 minutes on this one, and we'll see what happens. If not, Good for Gaming, maybe you're going to be lucky and you're going to be the first winner. So if live is still having issues, you might have people. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm worried about. So yeah, I don't know. I'll see if I can get logged in now. Well, I mean, people are obviously still streaming. I'm obviously still streaming. It's working, but I just can't log into my Mixer account, so which is really weird. I wonder if it works on my phone. Maybe I can see my dashboard on my phone. It's just the website. But it's certainly interesting. I can see my own stream on my phone. But I can't use my dashboard or anything on here, which kind of sucks. There's a PC app for Mixer. I didn't realize that. Maybe I might have to look into that. I think some people mistook what we were gonna do tonight too, so can no longer enter the giveaway. Why not? There's still 30-some seconds left. I think some people misunderstood what we were doing tonight. When I said I was doing it on my Mixer channel, I think people assumed that I was gonna talk about Mixer only, and that I thought I tried to make it clear that it was going to be platform agnostic, but maybe I could have done better on that one. So needs time to think. Yes, because there's only one ticket in there, so I mean, I think I kept it pretty platform agnostic. There were a couple things I talked about specific to Mixer, or to Twitch actually. I spoke a lot about Twitch, but I mean, for the most part, what goes for one goes for the other, for overlays and that sort of stuff. It really just comes down to how you have to set up OBS to go to either one. Well, I wonder who's going to win this. Let me see. Good for Gaming! You're our winner! Woo! Alright, so, yeah, I'll try and figure that out. I kind of wanted it to be, obviously, people who were here and people who saw it. So maybe I'll figure out a way to do it for the Good for Gaming team, through the Discord. And that way I know who gets their hands on it, and I can help people set it up if they need help. So, ooh, that's a really good idea. Yes, let's do that. So I have two keys. Well, I have 2 licenses that I can give out, and yes, let's use the giveaway bot there. I don't know how to do that, so if you want to do it, set it up, have it pick 2 winners, and then I can get in touch with them on how to get their keys. That good call on that one. I forgot about the giveaway bot there. So that's all that's all the content I had. If there's any specific questions, I'm happy to answer them. I can set it up. How long do you want it to go? Yeah, let's do 24 hours. Because I told the Touch Portal developer I would get back to him tomorrow, but tomorrow's obviously Saturday, so let's give everybody through the whole day tomorrow, and pick a winner on Sunday. Sound good? Cool. So we'll do that, and then yeah. So I'm gonna archive this video and put it up on YouTube, and I'll share the link with the Good for Gaming team and the interwebs, so that people who missed this might be able to go back and rewatch it. And I hope that this answered a lot of questions. I didn't really get a chance to talk about engaging with your audience, and I kind of wanted to do that too, but we just kind of ran out of time. So maybe we can do a streaming 201 session that talks more about engaging with your audience and talking about charity and how you integrate charity into your streams. That's going to be more of a chat versus a how do we set stuff up, because it's really a mindset change that you have to have when you hit that go live button. So and there's definitely some techniques I've learned to do that from doing the Extra Life stream team. So I don't mind sharing that at a future. So I want to say thanks to everyone. Thank you, Dave, for being a big proponent of this and getting this, kind of helping me get this up off the ground and promoting this and getting people here. I really hope that some people find this useful and get their streams up and running before Extra Life Game Day or whatever charity stream you have going this year. So with that, I'm going to sign off. I might hang out and play some games tonight. I don't really know. I've had a really rough week with work and a lot of late nights, so I might just kind of turn in early. I think the video could come in handy and we get closer to game day. Absolutely, and I don't mind doing this again on a smaller scale, come closer to game day. Just kind of covering the bare minimum basics. I don't have to go into all the details that I went into here tonight, but excuse me. But I can certainly also do another whole thing on CloudBot too, because I didn't cover hardly any of CloudBot, so, or any chatbot for that matter. We could do one on the G4G channel sometime too. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that either. Certainly for our group of people to get us set up either. And maybe we want to do this again before, however we decide we were going to do the stack up. Maybe we do it then, quick hour session for all the people that want to do stack up. You kind of get them to commit to come to do this sort of class, just so everyone's on the same page for how do we set stuff up and how do we engage our audience. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Alrighty, so I'm going to switch over to the ending scene, and then that'll be it for me tonight. And I think this went really well on Mixer, other than the whole not being able to log into Microsoft thing. That put a little damper on it for me, but yeah, other than that, I think it went really well. So thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to taking any questions. If you have any questions, reach out to me here. You can reach out to me on Twitter. So here, I have a command for that. Well, if it's okay, so it's, oh, there it is. Streamlabs is a little slow on that one. Holy smokes. So you can follow me there on Twitter, send me a message there. You can also find me on Discord. You can find me either in the Good for Gaming channel, or I have my own Discord set up as well. You can hit me up over there as well if you want. Send me a message there. Lots of different ways to get a hold of me. And as always, if you're not already part of Extra Life, please consider joining Extra Life today. It's free. You can. It takes about 5 minutes of your time. you can use that link right there. It'll take you to the Extra Life webpage. Fill in a couple pieces of information. They give you an account. You get an ID. You set up a webpage. You share that webpage with your friends and family, and you get people to, you ask people to donate. You pick the hospital you want, your local hospital or any one of the 170 different hospitals throughout North America. And that money goes immediately and directly to the hospital. And 100% of that goes there. There's nothing that gets taken out for processing fees. I will say that you get asked if you make a donation, if you want to cover the processing fee. That's 100% optional. And no matter what, whether you choose to pay that or you choose not to, 100% of the donation that you chose to make goes to the hospital. So if you choose to make a $10 donation, that full $10 will go there. If you choose to pay the processing fee, that processing fee goes to cover the amazing work that the people at Donor Drive do, and whatever kind of processing fees Children's Miracle Network hospitals might have in processing that credit card transaction. That's actually a really popular question we get is, I see that fee, do I have to pay that or not? So no, it's optional. If you want to, that's awesome. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I will say though, that if you do pay the fee, that fee is also tax deductible, so you can add that into your taxes at the end of the year for whatever fees you pay. So yeah, register today. You can also consider donating. You can do that by this link here. So I had it up on the other. So you can see my goal this year is 5,489. That's actually my third stretch goal this year. And if we are able to hit that amount this year, that will mean that my community has raised $15,000 over the last 6 years for Children's National. And that's, to me, that's an amazing accomplishment. We already surpassed 10,000 earlier this year. And so, yeah, I thought it was fitting to go big or go home to up that goal to what it would take to get us to 15,000. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Have a great night, and we will catch you in stream on another night. Thanks, guys.